Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we got a big surprise in our mailbox this morning. That is right, it is another 100 chests as well as 20 arcane staffs. Now overall, these are incredibly difficult to get through if you're not buying them out of the store because they don't naturally drop anywhere. We need a lot more income when it comes to the staff. That way we can build collections and also need a lot more of these chests with the epic emblem chest. Now, overall, I was on Reddit yesterday and I seen a chart that I'm going to share in a little bit when it comes to building out the heroes. But in today's video, I wanted to hop over and I wanted to look at the Nightmare Corridor and kind of what's going on with there. So within the Nightmare Corridor, I believe I'm at 1% right now. Now, there's a couple things that I'm noticing again with the Nightmare Corridor. So we're at 1.2. A couple challenges left is looking at our leaderboard, and we're going to take a look at Blossoms. Is overall, there's been kind of a couple different changes. Now, number one, making sure that Rosaline, if you're running this formation, that Rosaline is following the Awakened version, or excuse me, the original version of Taylene. Now, if you copy this, and I copied it, I tried it once, it had Rosaline actually not assigned to anyone, which I don't understand. Again, I know some of the issues that we're having with copying formations, but some of them not working well at all. Now, in addition, I've noticed with collections, so if I go in here, you can see that Lorzen is not wearing a collection in here, and this rings true to a bunch of different places where they've kind of unequipped the collections and making sure that you have the collections in the places that you have to have them. Even here we see Lucilla doesn't have a collection or gear at all, and then also Rem does not have a collection here either. I know, of course, this is a very large account. A lot of these heroes are really built, and a lot of the collections are very, very high. But there is a reason and there is a methodology based on the boss's abilities on why we don't have this. Now, of course, what you'll quickly notice is when you actually go into challenge, let's say, for instance, this first formation, which of course was Taylene, we'll go ahead and look at our collections and we have him with this one. We don't want him with the collection. Not a way to take it off. So that is right, through this mode. So I actually have to go back so we can go out of this entire game mode. We can come in here and we can find Lorzen in here. Remove this collection because again, you can't remove it in there. You can't just drop the collection out. So trying to kind of mirror the formations that we've seen with Blossom. And again, there's a reason and there's a logic why they're built this way and why we do have the different segmented heroes and how they're built. So looking in here now, we come all the way back full circle. Now he doesn't have them, which I believe is going to be the exact same when it comes to Lucilla. Now, again, I copied formations and it kept a artifact right there or a collection right there on Lucilla. So same thing, having to hop out and do that. Now, I know this was addressed recently when we seen some of the information about some of the changes that they're looking to do. So it does make a big difference. Now, in addition, another way to really look at this game mode is what are your primary damage dealers and what do they look like? So again, looking at Blossom's account, going through here. So right here, we have the original version of Taylene. We have Athalia in there. Right here, we do have, it looks like Crescio and Brutus both doing an incredible amount of damage. Kind of looking at where they're built. So Brutus is at a 40, Crescio's at a 30. So it might make a big difference. Looks like Naruko is built up a little bit as well. And of course, we have a lot more built out heroes on that side. But looking a little bit further, so here we have the Awakened version of Baden, still doing a lot of damage. This one, we have the original version of Baden. Now, a lot of players have kind of debated this back and forth, and you can see it's kind of a little bit more of a basic build, not a huge build on Baden. Even looking at his combat rating at 28 billion, most of them are much higher, just again, based on newer heroes versus older heroes with the power creep overall, but Baden is carrying all of the damage within this one. And then, of course, the final one is a combination of Leica, the Awakened version of Leica, and also running in there with Orin. And this, of course, running the 1 billion damage right there from the Slumbering Seal. So looking at these, and this is kind of a way that I kind of break it down, is knowing that my Crescio is not built up, my Brutus is not built up, probably as far or as high as it needs to be. I'm going to probably have to add some more of the signature item on there, possibly a little bit more engraving on there, and just going through and seeing kind of where your heroes are built in relation to, because I know my Baden even right here doesn't have a 60 engraving, but we have been using him for a significant amount of content. So really min-maxing and figuring out where you're missing, either not having the teams built, which you're missing the heroes, or not having the heroes built out to a point that you need them to be. Now, overall, I know Crucio does have quite a bit of utility. We can use him, going to help a lot in the Mauler Tower. Even the high engraving, I already have him at a 43. We're talking, what, 2650 to build him. I'm going to go ahead and take him to 60. There we go. So he's going to be doing a lot more damage out of there. And again, not having that many heroes in the Mauler Tower, adding up the crit damage amplification is going to make a big difference. He also used the skill on the enemy formation at the start of battle. So it will actually trigger the repelling smash at the start of battle instead of waiting till a little bit further in the battle. And again, going to make a big difference when it comes to building that out. Now, the original version of Baden, he's another one, again, kind of debatable, but looking at the skill rate here, if there are more than 4 Phantoms on the battlefield, Baden becomes untargetable for 4 seconds. This, of course, he's not going to die because it's going to give him that immunity, but the big thing in here is the stats. So we did build him up all the way to 41 just based on the stats. Now, I want to hop over and I want to look at the signature items. I want to look at this Reddit post and show you kind of what I was talking about, and it's very interesting mathematically how they broke this down when it comes to the build. So let's hop over and we'll go ahead and take a look at this. All right, guys, so this one was actually from No Explanation over on Reddit. And what they did was mathematically broke down the cost for each level based on the signature item. Now, they did the 31 through the 40 rate here, which again, kind of what I want to talk about. So this is the utilization in the cost of running red chests. So if you're taking a hero from essentially going to 31 to 40, it's going to cost you 495 chests. Now we know this has been an issue because that is an incredible amount of chests, and a lot of people in a lot of places they said are going to lower the cost of going from 31 to 40 and from 40 to 50, so we're going to have to see. Now in the same coefficient, grays, if you're just using the epic chests, 31 to 40 is going to be 230. Now there are a couple variables within here that we really can't take into account. Now, of course, looking again, big picture, how many more red chests are we receiving in AFK Arena on a regular basis through events, through everything else? Again, that's kind of a factor that you can't really justify, I guess, because depending on the loot that you're taking from different game modes, it could make a really big difference. But this is just running straight numbers. So looking at our gray chest or the silver chest, 230 to get to the 40. So mathematically looking at the build and looking at the cost, so they use a 1.3. Now, some people say it should be a 1.25. Again, Reddit is always kind of a little of the Wild West out there. But if you look, so 40 versus 30, the coefficient using the grays to get from a 30 to a 31, then going from a 32 through a 38. And I know they said the 38 at the 1.25 is debatable as well, but using red chests essentially. And you'll notice that when you're looking again mathematically, so right here, the cost of red chests, of course, are cheaper because we have more accessibility to them. Even looking diamond-wise, they are cheaper to buy out of the shop than we see with our gray chests. And overall, level 33 is 50 and 50, so they are equal. Using the red chest right there, the 60, 55, the 70, and you can see kind of how they made this. So if you look at a fully built hero, mathematically, this is the best way to break them down. So you'll actually have 3 levels that you're using those gray chests or the silver chests, and then the levels in between where you're using the red, again, based on the cost that you have here. And a cost reference, of course, to get the plus 10 signature item, the 20, the 30, and the 50. Right now, the 50 only takes gray chest. That is right. You need 1,360 of your gray chest to get a hero from a plus 40 to a plus 50, which is super, super expensive, guys. It's kind of crazy when you think of the coefficient of how many heroes that you can build out to a plus 30, or excuse me, a plus 40 versus the heroes that you can build out to a plus 50 is kind of crazy to see kind of the difference in there between those heroes itself. So kind of keeping that in mind, and again, kind of keeping that thought, building out a couple of these heroes, it's going to make a big sense. Like even here with Brutus, where he's already at a 35, I built him to a 35, that's where he's been. So having essentially 35 to 38, breaking it down with these chests itself, just based on this. So we'll go 35, 36, 30. Yes, let's go ahead and use those. There's 38. Now again, 38 is kind of the debatable because the red chests and the other ones are kind of even at that point. So it says going into 39, which this is going to be the upgrade to go to 39. I don't believe yeah, I do have enough just of the first upgrade. And then I'm going to save my grays to go to 40. Now, I know a lot of players are saying that Brutus is pretty broken in a lot of different game modes. That's why I wanted to build him up. Already had him at a 35, so I'm not too worried about that. But that will actually be building up and completing. So again, mathematically looking at some of the heroes, if we're looking to take them further, the first one going from 30 to 31, we're going to use our grays. Then there's going to be a run where we're actually using our reds. Now, you have to keep in mind as well, when it comes to the red chest, what heroes do you have to take from a 20 to 30? Because if you're using your red chest to go from a plus 30 signature item to a plus 40, ultimately you're going to be burning a lot of the red chest, which means any newly released heroes, you're not going to have the ability to take them from 20 to 30, which is still 300 red chests. And you can only use red chests right now in that game mode or in the SI building because of the design of the signature item itself. So very interesting to see all of the math in there, and I do love it. Want to score a lot better within the Cursed Realm and the Nightmare Corridor. Offers an incredible amount of loot. So that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.